Good. So in chapter 6, uh, I like the title, What is so important about the vision thing, right? You know, every organization, they have to have a vision statement. I spend tons of money to get consultants in to help them formulate the vision statement, and then they hang it on the wall, and it's supposedly going to make everything better. Yes, and your reaction, I think, describes the or captures the reaction of many people, right? It's like now we have this vision statement on the walls, so what? So, on the one hand, there seemed to be great emphasis on the importance of vision statements. And it seems that sometimes it's true, right? Sometimes people have a vision and somehow it inspires and mobilizes energy towards a particular goal, and the vision is realized. That's cool. At other times, the vision just becomes like something on the wall that nobody understands and nobody cares about. But it costs a lot of money to make it. And so we have to understand what's the vision thing, right? Why are we talking about it? Why does it fail sometimes? And why sometimes do people follow it? Sometimes people do not follow it. So I went on the internet and I just downloaded the vision statements of a lot of different companies. So read through these vision statements. Well, not all companies I can see. There's Mandela can hardly be called a company, but yeah, the rest are companies. Actually, I know all of them except Hype. I don't know. Anybody know Hype? No. Okay, cool. But you know the rest, right? Good. So these are vision statements, and I read through them and then notice which ones do you find inspiring. Just like when you read them, which of these do you go like, yeah, that speaks to me. That's inspiring. That's like does something to me when if I worked in a company and they said that was the vision, I'd really want to work for that vision. Anyone? What's your number one, or just one that inspires you? Yeah. Google. Yeah, to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Cool. Do you know why it inspires you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Cool. Good. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. So to help people and businesses throughout the world realize their full potential. Yeah, again, you can say it's not about the product, it's about something much bigger than the product. Yeah.
I can say the opposite
Mm-hmm.
for Hype
Yeah.
to be the world's top music-based entertainment lifestyle platform company.
Mm-hmm.
It's talking about the product. And
It is.
like, I don't really
So it doesn't inspire you.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not really inspiring.
No, it's like, yeah, anybody can say like, and when you work with companies, like so many times, it's like, what's your vision to be the best? And you go like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's interesting, right? Anyone else? Which something that inspires you? Which of these vision statements do you find inspiring? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, true. You can say it about many people, and it doesn't have to be. Yeah, there's something very simple and honest about a computer on every desk in every home.
Yeah.
Boom, that's it.
That's what we want.
Yeah. Cool. Good. Anyone else? Yeah. The Nelson Mandela, you say? Yeah. The unity of all South Africans despite difference in ethnicity. Yeah. Yeah. Again, something quite big. Mm-hmm.
I think the LinkedIn is quite inspiring.
Yeah. Creating.
It's also, I mean, it's in general for like the global workforce.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. It's quite fun actually to go on Google and I found a lot of them. I couldn't fit more on the slide, but it's really fun to see well-crafted vision statements. I did throw in hype in order to have something that I thought was not a well-crafted vision statement. But it's interesting to see, to think about like what has that immediate effect on you, that it inspires you, and then go like, why that? Okay. So, visions, meaning making, sense giving, these are some of the traditional theories in the field. So you have one there where the leadership is the management of meaning. So it's something about shared understanding is the foundation of organizational activity. If you don't agree on what you're doing, chances are you're not gonna be very coherent as an organization, and therefore it's the job of the leader to formulate such meaning, and the vision should be accepted by followers to be effective. That's almost like, yes, of course, right? So if a leader can formulate and say this is, if they can formulate that shared understanding, then they can make organizations more effective. And so in this, it's very much the leader that looks around and then says, this is what we're doing. Here's a vision statement. Here's like a shared understanding of what we're doing. And then fingers crossed that employees are on the same page, right? Because if not, you get one of those vision statements hanging on the wall and nobody cares. Then there's another approach where it's more about finding meaning in the organization. So they say, well, actually, it's not that leaders just pull out a vision from thin air or just their own imagination. They give voice to and articulate the meaning embedded in existing organizational activity. So they walk around and look like, what are people doing in this organization? And then they capture that in a nice sentence. So we're already organizing the world's information, but nobody has caught it in a succinct sentence. So by doing that, we kind of focuses the energy around something that everybody's doing. And so if there's like one or two employees that go like, that's doing something else, they go, oh, that's what we're doing, and everybody else go, yeah, of course, didn't you get that? And they say, okay, fine, that now it makes much more sense to me why I have to do the things I have to do. So these are two slightly different ways of looking at it. So questions that these theories leave unanswered, you get the cadence of the book now, right? It's like we look at the traditional theories and then we go like, well, what are we not dealing with? And then we bring in some philosophical ideas to see if we can address it. So questions they leave unanswered is, if the formal leader articulates the meaning of the followers, then what do the leaders actually do, right? If we look at the second and they say, well, they're just formulating the meaning that the followers already have, so why do we even need a leader for that? It's already formulated. And what happens if you have two big groupings in the organization that think they're doing something different? How do you choose? What do you do with that, right? So we have 20 people over here who thinks that we're doing one thing, and then we got 30 people over here who thinks that we're doing something else. Which one would we pick? And also, if we're just formulating the stuff that's the meanings that are already there, then how do we formulate anything revolutionary? And I mean, when you look at Nelson Mandela, for example, pretty revolutionary vision. But how did that come about? Because that was definitely not what everybody were thinking. That was not a meaning that was shared already, or otherwise South Africa would have looked very different. And then it's like, what happens? This thing about followers following the vision or not. What determines whether they? What if they cannot follow the revolutionary vision? What if they just don't accept or ignore the vision? What determines those kind of things? So the first theory just said it's important that the followers follow the vision or accept the vision, but it doesn't give any input to say like what determines whether they do or not. So these are some of the questions that the traditional theories leave unanswered. So Donna turns to hermeneutics. And so now we're just going to introduce a couple of concepts, and then we're going to use them to think about visions. So the first concept that's introduced is the concept of thrownness. So this is you all grew up in a specific context, and that colors how you look at the world and how you understand different concepts. So you can say, if you look at the table below, you can say, well, I put in just 4 random organizational concepts, right? If you're in an organization, in a leadership team, you might talk about responsible governance, about sustainability, about respect, and about leadership, right? Those are the kind of concepts that come up. And you might think like, yeah, we all know what those kind of things are. But then if you look at here, you say maybe you are a manager in an American oil company, or you are an employee in the same oil company in Nigeria, or you are a Greenpeace activist, or you're a Japanese politician dealing with the oil company if they've, I don't know what American oil company would be doing in Japan. But if they are making a drilling site there, let's say. Now, just spend, I think, just 1 or 2 minutes talking at your tables. How would these 4 actors understand these 4 concepts differently? So like responsible governance, what does that mean? What might that, and of course this is like wild speculation, you can't know it, but this is just an exercise to see the kind of discrepancies that might be there. So if you take responsible governance, what might that mean to a CEO of an American oil company as opposed to, let's say, a Greenpeace activist? Does it make sense that they might have different understandings of what it means? Like, just give me like what might the responsible governance mean that's different if you look at the American oil company and Greenpeace? Yeah.
For the Greenpeace activist, it's like a must. Like it's necessary to talk about these things, whereas for the American oil company, might be only a threat for the company. You know, like.
Okay, yeah, okay, cool. So for one, it's like a necessity. For the other one, it's like, oh, we have to do this, and it might be a threat. Okay, others? You have something?
I was thinking like for the American oil company, it might be like stockholder interest. So even if you break the law, you just make sure that the fine isn't bigger than the cost. Like the fine isn't bigger than the benefit of actually doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like responsible. Who are you responsible to, right? The CEO might say, I'm responsible to the shareholders. The Greenpeace activists say, I'm responsible to the planet. So completely different things. Did you have some? That was it, yeah. Okay, so just take 2 minutes, discuss at your tables to sort of like see what can you come up with. If you look at these different actors, try to get in their shoes and see how would they experience these 4 concepts, maybe completely different from each other. Cool, so 2 minutes.